Hey guys, I'm Hannah Cox with Base Politics, back with my show, Copaganda. It's been 9 years since New York City police murdered Eric Gardner for selling loose cigarettes on a New York City sidewalk. That event led to tremendous backlash against police, the rise in the Black Lives Matter movement, and calls for criminal justice reforms that were well warranted. But have New York City police learned their lesson from that incident? It appears not. Earlier this month, a squad of 8, yes 8, police officers apprehended a man in a suit for the high crime of smoking a cigarette on a New York City public sidewalk outside of a park. Let's watch.
Why are you arresting him? Why are you putting cuffs on him?
Do you see this?
Why are you putting cuffs on this man?
We asked him for his identification. He did not provide it.
Why does he need to?
He's violating a rule of the Union Square Park.
He's not in the park.
He's inside the park.
What is going on?
He's not inside the park.
You can't smoke inside the park.
Inside the park, but he's outside the park.
This is the park, all right? And he's not being arrested. He did not want to give his identification, so he's going to be brought to the precinct where he's going to show his identification. He's going to get summons.
I'm out here. The lady even said it herself. I'm outside the park.
He's
What the fuck are you
outside
talking
the
about?
park.
The officials of Union Square Park, they told us it's curb to curb. Thank you guys.
You didn't treat me like no gentleman. You're not even treating me like a human being right now. What the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
I tried to have a civil conversation.
You didn't try to have a civil conversation. Fuck you.
Like that. Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. Because you disrespected me when you approached me.
Why are you cuffing him? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He didn't want to give his identification. So if you don't want to give your identification, we're going to cuff you, bring you back to the precinct.
Yeah,
Because when we ask for your identification, you have to give us your identification.
Why?
Because it's a law. You're committing a violation. I asked you for your identification. Not in the park. It's on everyone.
Am I the only one wondering how 8 police officers were on scene so suddenly for this man smoking a cigarette? This is bizarre. Need I remind you that New York City currently has a subway that is smeared with feces, where people are being pushed onto the tracks, where there have been sexual assaults, where the average person is terrified to even go take a train to get to their destination because of the rampant violence that is going on down there. And that is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the actual violence issues in New York City at the moment. In fact, the city is experiencing one of the worst crime waves in the country. Arrests for the most serious crimes are up in every single New York City borough for every month of 2023. And you've got 8 police officers that have time to divert to arresting a man in a suit because he's smoking a cigarette, maybe too close to a public park. You have got to be kidding me. If anything, I would think this would be a ticket, but no, they actually arrest this man and say that they are taking him all the way down to a precinct to book him. So I can't even calculate how much time is being wasted on this incident, but we know it's far too much. We hear an officer say that he didn't want to give his identification, so he's going to be brought to a precinct where he's going to have to show his identification. A spokesperson for the NYPD confirmed that and said that they arrested him on Tuesday, July 4th at about 7:30 a.m. The statement said officers observed an individual smoking inside of Union Square Park. The horror. Identification was not provided to the officer upon request, the spokesperson said, so the 35-year-old male was transported to the 13th precinct where his identification was verified and he was issued an oath summons for smoking and then released. When you think about just how few crimes police actually solve in our country, this is actually infuriating. It's less than 60% of all homicides. It's less than 30% of all rapes. It's less than 20% of property crimes. And it's because they're wasting their time on your dime doing crap like this. Not only was this absolutely stupid and a waste of resources on its face, it also seems that what they were doing was probably not on book. According to the ACLU, you have the right to remain silent. For example, you do not have to answer any questions about where you are going, where you are traveling from, what you are doing, or where you live. In some states, you may be required to provide your name if asked to identify yourself, and an officer may arrest you for refusing to do so. But in New York City specifically, which is again where this happened, you are not required to carry ID and you do not have to show ID to a police officer. If you're issued a summons or arrested, however, and you refuse to produce ID or tell officers who you are, the police may detain you until you can be positively identified. So did the police have a right to detain him and take him to the precinct here? I guess technically yes, though it would seem reasonable that if you're not required to have an ID, you can't be required to present police with an ID. That doesn't make any sense. Essentially, they're saying if you are an undocumented immigrant, you don't have to have an ID, it's okay. But if you're a citizen of this country and you're paying taxes, you can be shaken down for not presenting your ID when cops demand it. That doesn't make any sense. The real point here is that there was absolutely no need to arrest him whatsoever. This is an important reminder that cops can always take things up to here when they're given the power to do so, which is why, as my friend Austin Peterson has suggested, I think we should end every new proposed law with "or we will kill you." Because in reality, every time lawmakers put a new law on the books, you are giving the police to take it to the full extent, and you can be killed for that, as we saw with Eric Gardner. Fortunately, this man was not killed, but he was still shaken down in a free country, forced to waste his day, probably had to have fines, and all because he chose to smoke somewhere outdoors. That doesn't make any sense. That isn't freedom. And lawmakers should have to answer for these idiotic policies as much as police do in these circumstances. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Let me know what you think of this video. And until next week, stay based.